Hello and welcome to a walkthrough of the amazing Dreamkeepers Tarot with me, Intuitive Rene. I have had this deck for a couple of days already. I think it's probably over a week that I've had this deck, and I haven't yet done the video because I've just been too busy, haven't had a chance to get down to doing it. So I'm so excited to do this with you. This is a deck by Liz Huston. There's quite a lot of information about this deck on the internet, so do yourself a favor and look at it, but look at it all, because I was very uncertain as to whether I needed or wanted this particular deck, but I eventually caved. And you know what? I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I did. And if you're there, if you're a tarot collector like I am, if you're somebody who appreciates a good tarot deck and you've been sitting on the fence with this particular deck, well, I hope I can convince you to get it. So I just have the lid of the box here with me, because the lid is a bit of a tight fit on the box and I didn't want to have to struggle on camera to get it off. So this is the empty lid, and you can see that it is a full deck and book set. The guidebook is amazing. That's the bottom of the deck, that's the other side, that's the top, and inside is just a plain cover. So I'm going to get that out of the way, and this is the back of the box. So it's the Dreamkeepers Tarot. You get a couple of pictures, you get a bit of a blurb. I'm not going to bore you and read all the blurb. It is US Games Systems. It is published by US Games, which, not necessarily a bad thing, depending on your preferences for cardstock. It did come with a ribbon, a connected ribbon to help you to remove everything from the box, which is so appreciated. This guidebook, I mean, I have flipped through, I have read up on a couple of cards, and the guidebook is just amazing. So right off the bat, before even looking at anything, I'm going to say to you that the artwork is a little bit strange. The artwork is a little bit unusual. Let me use that word rather. And what I appreciated in the guidebook is that it explains why. It explains the reasoning behind the art. So if you've ever seen a deck or looked at a deck or worked with a deck and wondered, like, why has the creator done something, done a particular thing, or why is there a particular bird in that particular location on a card, get that information in this guidebook. So, and let me tell you, this is really a kind of deck that you want to do a deep dive with. I would not recommend this as an entry-level deck. So if you're new to tarot, or if you're just wanting to get into reading tarot, I would not recommend this particular deck for you. But if you are a seasoned reader looking for something meaty, something substantial, and something wonderful, this is it. All right. So we're going to remove the guidebook, and it is a fairly chunky guidebook, pages. Let's just have a look for those of people who are interested. We're on 176, and then you've still got a lovely index. I know some people really are into indexes, so index of arts, of artworks, and there you have where exactly they come from, who created them, and the dates on it, which is amazing. We've got for all of the suits and the courts, and then you can see it's published by US Games. So the art, this particular guidebook is amazing. I will show you in a bit more detail just now. You can see that the cards do have a slight gloss to them, but they are actually matte. So if I just move it out of the way of my ring light, you can see the artwork quite clearly. It did come with a plastic band, which I have since removed, and quite secure in the box with the ribbon. So to remove it, we just lift the ribbon and out come the cards. You can see that the ribbon is quite well secured. My insert, not stuck very good, not a perfect job, but you know what, it does the job of keeping the cards safe, and I think that's all I really want in a deck. If we look at the backs are beautiful. So it's a very soft bluey greeny color. I know on camera it is looking quite blue. It is completely reversible for those of you who do. Actually, it's not, because I'm just noticing that there is shading on the petals over there. So it wouldn't be completely reversible, because you would know that the shading is in the bottom corner, and if it's that way around next to another one, you could see immediately that. So it's not fully reversible, and I didn't notice that before. The cardstock is wonderful. The cardstock is quite a thick deck, but it's not overly thick. The cardstock, I don't know how, it's standard US Games cardstock. You can see it has got quite a bit of a flex to it, but I love it. I really do. You know, to me, this is perfect cardstock. Size comparison with normal RWS. Let's have a look. Just to do a comparison with the standard Rider-Waite Smith, and it is exactly ever so slightly. Let's see if you can see they're ever so slightly taller than the standard RWS, but otherwise cardstock is amazing. So let's take you through the cards. I'm going to try not give too much information. I might actually zoom in here. Too much information on each one, but I am going to pick out a couple and then show you the guidebook. So I'm going to do a complete walkthrough or a complete flip through of the deck, and then I will, on a couple of them that I think the artwork is particularly interesting, I will show you how the guidebook works and the kind of information you get from the guidebook. So let me just zoom in a little bit so that we can see the art a bit better. And immediately you can see that there is a lot to see in this in the artwork. There is quite a lot going on. There's quite a lot happening here. So she is standing on someone's head, as one does. She is standing on someone's head, and you know, you can see that she is ready to step. She's ready to go. She's ready to move on to the next place, and she's not really paying much attention to the who, the why, the when, and the how. She just, you know, that's what she's doing. So if you do know your RWS, there is so much here. You'll basically be able to interpret the cards with basic knowledge. There is just so much more symbolism here than meets the eye. So that is our full. Just look at our magician. Just look at our magician. Isn't that just exquisite? The texture, you know, it almost feels like, it looks like you can almost feel the texture on her outfit. And then the bubbles next to her almost make it into a butterfly. So it's almost like her butterfly wings, or is it her silhouette? So we've got her silhouette, and she is the creatrix. She is the one who manifests and creates whatever it is that she desires. Isn't it just absolutely gorgeous? And then the symbolism here, let's see if the camera will focus above her. We have got a triangle with the eye in it, and it is repeated higher up there as well. And we all know that there's a lot of symbolism and understanding around that as well. Let's try to adjust the camera so that we could see a little bit more. Okay, so when we look at our High Priestess, immediately the first thing I noticed was her horns. Then I noticed these kind of skeleton wings and the fact that she's standing in a nest. And then I look at over here, you know, there's a light bulb attached to it, and there's some gems over there, but she's still got the scroll with her. She's still got the moon in the background. She's got the scroll with her. So there's still so much symbolism that comes through, but yet there's so much. So I'm going to actually use this one to look in the guidebook to see what it says around the High Priestess. Let's start off with the High Priestess. So in the guidebook, it says the High Priestess is the celestial mother, the keeper of occult knowledge, and the guardian of the collective unconsciousness. The High Priestess stands towering above the land. She is powerfully at ease in a small nest, which sits on the uppermost branch of a tree of life. So you see, now we wouldn't have known that that was the tree of life, but now we do. Centered in the space between the earth and the moon, she endures in the sacred realm between the dualities of light and dark, good and evil, death and life. She is the sacred keeper of all great esoteric wisdom and mysteries, and thus possesses a deep insight into the mysteries of existence. She guards the entrance to our collective unconscious, which, according to Carl Jung, is something of a psychological inheritance, containing all the knowledge and experience that we have shared as a species. It is the part of the mind that contains impulses and memories of which the individual is not aware. It surrounds the personal unconscious mind, and it is populated by instincts and archetypes that exert influence and find expression through us. These archetypes are not created by the individual, but are discovered by them. They are the characters of our dreams, the myths and fairy tales, and it is in this realm of the collective unconsciousness, the archetypal events, motives, and figures within it, that extend subtle yet profound effects on the lives of each one of us. So as guardian, the High Priestess stands in stillness. She is resolute, compelling, and confident, the totality of all occult knowledge held safely in her sacred scroll. More than their keeper, she is inseparable from this knowledge, and is thus the very embodiment of all great ageless wisdom traditions. She contains all the mysteries of the universe and presides over them with care and mastery. The nature of the woman is reflective and life-giving. In the center of the High Priestess's being rests all the potentials of creation. Just as in the center of the woman, the new life of a baby is formed. She herself is the vessel of transformation. Just as she carries all potential in her career, you too carry these potentials, but they must be discovered in their depths. She is the antithesis of shallow or superficial truths and simple platitudes. She is both the deep and the veil, which separates you from the collective wisdom and your own vast potential. Have you ever had a knowing about something, a sense that you possessed more wisdom than you were previously aware of, and which was beyond your capacity to express in words? This sensation, this knowing, is the domain of the High Priestess. I mean, how beautiful is that? So when you listen to that, when you take in that information and you look at the artwork, it suddenly makes sense. So if you knew what the High Priestess stood for in traditional tarot, you can see that still here. We've still got that symbolism, we've still got that basic understanding, but just when you read from the guidebook, it just gives you so much more information. So there is still more. So what I've given you is the basic description, and then there is a divinatory message, and we've got keywords for upright and reversed, and they do that for every single card. So that guidebook is absolutely phenomenal. So there is our High Priestess. She is gorgeous. Love, love, love. And then we have our Empress. And look how beautiful she is. So there's so much texture. I have to use that word in these cards. The clothing, it's almost like it's see-through, it's transparent, it takes you a portal into another world. And yeah, she just really is absolutely exquisite. And then we get our Emperor, and I know a lot of people like to do a comparison between the two, and you can see how they are worlds apart. They are worlds apart, yet they blend, they coexist so well together. So we definitely get strength and structure and determination and all of those keywords from our Emperor. Gorgeous. Hierophant, very interesting. So the artwork is quite dark. I will give you that. I will absolutely confirm and agree that the artwork is quite dark. It could have been lightened up ever so slightly, but I don't think the deck would work if the art was too light, because this is a beautiful deck for shadow work. This is a beautiful deck for doing a deep dive into yourself, into your circumstance, into your situation. And in order to do that, we need to face the darkness. We need to look into those parts of ourselves. So as much as I love bright and colorful decks, I do so love the way that this one has been done, very cleverly so. Look at this Lover's card. Okay, so suddenly we get the brightness, suddenly we get all this color that comes through, but the more you look at the art, the more you look at the card, the more you suddenly start to see. So on first glance, on first appearance, it seems to be a lady and a gentleman standing, engaging with each other. We see their faces, but then suddenly we notice the birds. Then suddenly we notice, hold a second, the birds are standing in the neck space of the clothing, and in their beaks they're holding the masks. So they're pretending to be something or someone that they're not. And then if we look inside the lady's dress here, because if I sort of hide the bottom portion, it just looks like it's part of the dress, the black. But then we realize that this is an opening, and it's opening into a whole nother world. And inside that world, we've got moon phases that are people. At first I thought they were candles, but then I realized no, but it's little bodies, it's little people, different shapes and different bodies and different all sorts within her. So and it's and if we look at him, I want to just see, I don't know if the camera's going to focus on his shirt, but it's a whole series of cards that have been assembled. Did you ever do that as a child, where you took a deck of playing cards and you stood them up and balanced them on each other to build a structure? So that's what he's made of. And she's made of this whole little universe of moons and people that are walking around in circles inside her. And then we've got these birds that are carrying the masks, pretending. So it's so deep. It is so deep. Oh, and then they're standing in water too. He's got 1 foot on the ground and 1 foot in the water. So he's grounded, he's solid, but he's not. And then I don't know what he's holding in his hand. Looks like a lock. It looks like a lock. And then she's got a wishbone in this hand over here. Can you see that? Like a wishbone from a chicken that we used to make wishes with. So it is so deep. It is so deep, and there's so much going on here. And that's just the Lovers card. Just the Lovers card. Right, and then we've got the Chariot. So we've got the black and the white horses, we've got the movement, but notice what she's carrying. She's got masks in each hand. Sorry, I've got to bring it closer again. She's got masks in each hand. So it's almost like, okay, so who do I want to be? She is triple goddess. Okay, she's got the crescent moons on each shoulder, which is typical symbolism for the card of the Chariot. But it's like picking, choosing, which way am I going to go? Who do I want to be? Who am I? Who do I want to be? And where am I going to go to be that person? Just look at the Strength card. So I'm going to say to you again that at first glance, if you look at this deck, at first glance, you're going to think to yourself, I don't like it. I don't know what's going on. I don't understand. It doesn't make a lot of sense initially. And I was exactly the same. But then after getting this deck and actually looking at the cards, looking at the artwork, reading up in the guidebook what it says, I mean, it is just mind-blowing. And this is a deck that deserves a true deep dive. So if you are somebody who really enjoys doing that kind of thing, highly, highly, highly recommend this deck. So we have the egg, we have the lady in the white dress, we have Snake, we have her disappearing or coming to life. I don't know which one it is. She holds a key in her hand. So yeah, amazing, amazing, amazing. Hermit card, sitting atop a very bare tree, almost looking at a reflection of herself. She is tree, tree is her, one and the same, holding candle over here, shedding some light. Beautiful. So this is the Fates, but otherwise known as the Wheel of Fortune in traditional tarot. Love, love, love this Justice card. So again, the first couple of times I looked at this card, I thought I was looking at a single person in a red and white dress, a dress that had half red, half white. But then suddenly you notice there's extra arms. And you notice that the arms are carrying stuff. And then you notice that there's a little fella, a little guy, a little man down the bottom here. And all the butterflies, you know. And then when you look at it, you realize that the white is actually not part of the lady in red. The white is a whole nother version of herself. We're carrying a heart, we're carrying a sword, we're carrying a mask, I think it is, with an I think it's a dog's face or something in it. And then we've got the Book of Knowledge, and we've got her head, her mind opening up, and these golden butterflies coming out as well. So sure, there is so much, so much. We've got the Hanged Woman as opposed to the Hanged Man. But the colors are so subtle, and there's such a gentleness about this particular artwork, such a gentleness about this particular card. Look at this Death. Isn't it just something else? Again, the colors are quite dark and quite misty. So she seems to be in a cocoon of some kind. Is it a cocoon? Is it a coffin? We've got skeleton, we've got non-skeleton, we've got the Snake of Temptation, we've got some wings, we've got a halo. There is, again, just, and coming out of the water, and look at we've got the, gosh, what are they called? Oh, the lotus leaves. The lotus leaves. The sky is red like it's on fire. So we've got all the elements. And also then we've got this ether, which is just so beautiful. Love the Death card. And then we've got Temperance. So here we have perfection. Using air quotes, we have perfection. She seems to be missing a piece though, and it's like she's trying to find her piece. So she's trying to find the missing piece of herself, and hopefully by finding the missing piece in herself, she will help this person who happens to be on the other side as well, because everything in life is a give and take. Look at this Devil card. So we have her in her white purity and her white, you know, veil, and him being completely naked and revealing himself with those bright red wings. And he seems to be whispering sweet nothings in her ear, and she seems to be enjoying it. And he seems to be holding, is it her heart, maybe? Look at this Tower card. Absolutely gorgeous. So as I said, and I've said it a couple of times, and I probably will say it another couple of times, this is not a standard deck. This is not a deck that you could just use to read for anybody. I think this deck has a very special voice, a very special, a very sacred voice, a very important voice, and a voice that needs to be spoken, that needs to be heard. The Star card is what is on the cover of the box. So it tells you that it's giving the box renewal, hope, giving the deck, I should say, not the box. Renewal, hope, and healing. And I love how we have the tattered and torn, but yet it's so transparent. And then we've got even the bird offering some flowers. There is just so much, so much. Even the ship on her mind traveled. This moon card was like one where I really thought I didn't understand. I didn't understand what was going on. So again, we see a little bit of skeleton coming through, a little version of herself. There is the moon right there in front of her. And it's almost like she's moving from the light into the dark. And isn't that exactly what the moon card is all about? It's about facing the darkness, processing, dealing, and stepping into the darkness and not being afraid. Beautiful card. And then we have the gorgeous sun card. So we have these beautiful yellows. And she seems to be having a veil on her, like a wedding veil, and there seems to be somebody in the sun, which is also beautiful. And judgment. So judgment, again, another one of these that really needs a little bit of understanding. So we have this angel. She's wearing green. I say she's wearing green. Her feathers are green. Let me not say she's wearing green. Her feathers are green, which talks about earth, which talks about human, talks about ego, all of those kind of things. She has left, she is leaving a very dead, barren, lifeless land. And it's like she's grabbing the roots with her. You can see that what was left of trees and shrubs and bushes, and she's got a handful of roots there and a handful of roots there. And it's almost like she's saying, okay, well, I can't succeed here. I can't do it here. So let me move on and let me take these roots with me in case there's still a bit of life in them that I can reignite. Sure, so powerful. And then we have the World card. Beautiful, beautiful. The sacred geometry, everything that's going on here. Stunning. Right, then we go into the minors, and we have the Ace of Wands, starting with the Suit of Wands. And I love how she is a big key, and behind her are all these ingredients that she can use in her pot to conjure up or to create or to make whatever it is that needs doing. I'm going to try to speed it up a little bit because otherwise we're already on to 23 minutes. This video will be very long. Two of Wands. 3. So you start seeing, like in the minors, a very clear understanding of the the connection between the RWS. This 4 of Wands, I mean, wow. So he is, I'm calling him a he, I'm calling her a she. It's just habit on my part. But he is sort of part of the tree. The tree is him. He is rooted, he is connected, he is earthbound. She seems to have been broken free, and she is now running towards him or moving towards him, almost like she wants to blend. It's like she wants to connect with him. With 4 of Wands is such a beautiful analogy. 5 of Wands was very interesting. I need to bring it closer and show you. So we've got 2 people. She's holding a fire here in her chest, so to speak. She doesn't have a head, but she's got the fire there. So are they the same person? Are they different people? You know, we don't quite know what's going on. She seems to be missing a hand, but there seems to be an extra hand over there. I don't know what's going on there. Because her hand is coming down the bottom here. So there seems to be a few too many. And there lies a face down the bottom here. So it's like she's lost her face. So is it the one you trust the most that lets you down? Is that the message? You know, is it the one that you trust that you let come close that actually carries the fire that destroys you? Interesting. 6 of Wands. 6 of Wands. So eating a huge big bunch of grapes in celebration and acknowledgement. But the people behind us, they don't look like they're celebrating with us. They don't look like they're as happy and enthusiastic as we are. 7 of Wands was so cute. wearing a mask of a bird's head, standing higher ground, gaining higher ground, and getting a higher vantage point on everybody else. 8 of Wands. I speed up, and I'm not really doing that. 9 of Wands. Gosh, another one that was so interesting, the artwork. So here she is looking at herself in a mirror. We have got a skeleton who is participating, but there's a face coming out the mirror. So is it her face or is it the skeleton's face? And then she is just a bunch of leaves. She's just veins. So beautiful. Love it. Okay, then we go. That was, just in case you missed it, that was the 10 of Wands. And then we go straight into the next suit. So all the court cards are kept for the end. So 8 of Cups, beautiful, beautiful card. 2 of Cups also, you know, he is rooted and solid and secure, and she is flexible, but body language is saying that she's turning away from him. So is he holding on to her? Is he holding her there? Or, you know, there's just so many questions. So many questions. 3 of Cups. Interesting, a friend of mine mentioned with the 3 of Cups that they've got their backs to each other. Normally, the 3 of Cups, the three friends or the 3 ladies generally face each other in celebration, but they've all got their backs to each other, and they're coming from a bunch of butterflies again, transforming and transmuting and becoming. But interesting that they've got their backs to each other. I think out of all of the cards in the deck, this is one that I really, this is the card I think that sold me. You know, 4 of Cups is the card of boredom and disconnect and just not really being interested. And she is clearly damaged. She is clearly broken. You know, she is missing pieces of herself, and she's got a whole medical kit here. You know, these scissors, and there's all sorts of doodads that she can use to repair herself. But she's so tired of doing the work. She's so tired of doing the repair because, you know, she just repairs one thing and something else breaks. Her heart is even way above her head. It's even exited the chest cavity, and it's way above. And somebody else is offering advice and help and guidance, and she's like, I'm so tired of doing this. I'm so tired of repairing and fixing and this never-ending cycle. I can't. So that was like really powerful for me. Really powerful. 5 of Cups, fairly average. The artwork is beautiful, but the symbolism wasn't as powerful as, for me, as the 4 of Cups. 6 of Cups is so cute. 7 of Cups, another one that was so interesting. So she's missing her face, but then she's got these masks that are like butterflies and stars and stuff. And it's like, you know, pick a face, choose a mask. Who are you? What do you want to be? Who do you want to be? What do you want to depict yourself as? But yet walking in almost ankle deep water. So very, very interesting. Very interesting for 7 of Cups. 8 of Cups, transformation and change and almost disappearing on oneself. Look how she is completely, again, we've got this figure, we've got the skeleton coming through. There seems to be a bit of a face there, but it's almost like she is becoming a bird, you know, becoming a flock of birds, I should say. 9 of Cups, and that she has this key, this opening here in her tummy and opening it for, you know, access to everything that she has, keeps it all there within her. And then the gorgeous 10 of Cups, hanging out on a rainbow, as one does. Suit of Swords. Right, let me get these out the way so the camera doesn't get confused with the focusing. Ace of Swords, I mean, the Suit of Swords in this particular deck, again, deep, beautiful, so much symbolism, so much to take in and so much to understand. Ace of Swords, stunning, stunning, stunning. 2 of Swords, hiding behind a mannequin. 3 of Swords. So it's almost like we're protecting the broken heart. I thought that was quite interesting, and I love the reflection of the broken heart on the table. 4 of Swords. Faces in the trees. I don't know if you can see them. This 5 of Swords was also so interesting. So interesting. Six of Swords. Now look at this one. So she's a peacock flying in the sky, and then there's another version of herself resting on the top there. So, you know, she's allowing this to be the vessel of change, of transformation, of movement, as she lies there resting, waiting to see where she lands. And look how the above and the below is just so different. Just so different. Beautiful. 7. Again, one of my favorites. One of my absolute favorites within the deck. So one of those cards that the more you look, the more you see. So we have this waterline, we have got 2 ships, but at first glance it looks like it's a person. It looks like a lady. She's got green wings and a blue dress, and you know, this part of the dress is opened up, and then we see that this is her heart space, and her heart space is opened up, and there's a whole nother universe, a whole nother world, you know, inside of it. And if we look across the bottom here, I don't know if you can see that we've got this kind of string here and these tiny little people holding the string in place. So again, so much going on with the 8 of Swords. Beautiful. 9 of Swords. Sure. Stunning. And the 10 of Swords. Love the reflection. She's holding the flower, you know. So much going on. Okay, then on to the suit of Pentacles. So we're doing the Ace to 10 of Pentacles. So she is standing on the red rose. I love this one. Again, the symbolism. We've got skeletons, we've got birds, we've got the discs, we've got so much going on, but there's so much going on, and you're just almost expecting it to topple at a moment's notice, isn't it? 3 of Pentacles. Can't get bigger scales than that. Trying to keep it all. And again, incredibly busy card, but you know, because when we find ourselves in the space of 5 of Pentacles, there is a lot going on. I'm seeing a baby face over there and another baby face over there. I don't know if it comes through on camera like that, but there's hands everywhere. There's more hands grasping or grabbing here, here, here at the top, and there's just, and there, and there, and there. It's just all over the place, you know, and you don't know quite where to look. You don't know where to go. And then it looks like it's clouds and it's wind and it's this and it's that. So, and I think when we find ourselves in this position of 5 of Pentacles, we do tend to see things that are not there, imagine things that are not there. Stunning. Beautifully, beautifully done. 6 of Pentacles I thought was incredibly interesting because she's chosen to be quite transparent, to be quite see-through, to reveal parts of herself, you know, to not pretend and to not hide and to not step away from. But her body language is, you know, it's almost like she is really looking down at them, on her, you know, down her nose at them. But she has so much. So, yeah, very interesting. And again, this black here, at first you think it's her hair. She's blindfolded, by the way. You see that? She's completely blindfolded. And then this black, at first I thought it was her hair, but then I wondered, is it maybe a bird, the back of a bird? So we've got people, we've got all sorts of things going on in the artwork again. Really so much thought put into this particular deck. 7 of Pentacles and all the green of envy and greed. 8 of Pentacles to me was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Look at the effort and the work that's going into it. Stunning. 9 of Pentacles, of course it's beautiful. 10 of Pentacles. You see she's climbing into this green suit. Stunning. Okay, now we get on to the court cards. So we've done all the majors and we've done the minors. Now we look at the court. So we've got the Page of Wands. I want to show you she's playing a record. Then we've got, turn it over, the Knight of Wands. King of Wands, and then they put the Queens at the end. And then look at our gorgeous Queen. Isn't she beautiful? Oops, oops, oops. Okay, Page of Cups. Again, with the masks and the multiple heads and trying to decide, who are you? Who do you want to be? Love that. Knight of Cups. King of Cups. And a Queen of Cups. And then we've got our Page of Swords. A Knight of Swords. Beautiful artwork. King. She almost looks like she's made out of plastic. Look at our Page of Pentacles. Isn't that card just gorgeous? Knight, definitely my favorite suit of quartz. And our last one is the Queen of Pentacles. Isn't she gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous. So, friends, there you have it. Dreamkeepers Tarot. Dreamkeepers Tarot it's unusual. I mean, to say the least, it is unusual, but it is truly, truly fabulous. As I said, this is not a deck for a beginner. This is not a deck for somebody who isn't prepared to take the time to do a deep dive into the realm of the Dreamkeepers Tarot. And I think this particular deck was designed to make us climb out of our comfort zones, to make us question everything that we know, everything that we believe, and everything that we've taken for granted. You know, I really get that this deck makes you climb out of your comfort zone and sort of say, oh, but why? But why? How come? What's going on? So this deck certainly makes you question, and I am going to love exploring this deck a little bit more and working with this deck. I will start off doing just single card pulls for myself on a daily basis, maybe do some shadow work spreads, things like that with it. But I think, you know, I'd only use it for a client reading if the question or the circumstance that is needing to be answered is one that requires deep understanding and actually getting to the heart of a particular situation or getting to the heart of a particular matter. I don't think that this deck would read well for just somebody who wants basic understanding of life. I don't think that would be a good idea. Shall we give it a shuffle and see how it shuffles? Actually, let me zoom out first of all. It's better. Right, let's give it a shuffle. So because of its size, doing an overhand shuffle is quite easy, quite simple, really uncomplicated, not a challenge at all. Let's see how it riffles, but being US game cardstock, I don't imagine the shuffling is going to be difficult. I can get my hands around it, even though my hands don't work very well. Riffles quite well. It is quite stiff, so it's not a very soft cardstock. It does have, you know, quite a lot of structure to the cardstock, but it riffles very well and it bridges not very well because I think my weak hands and the cardstock doesn't have a lot of bend in it. Let's just do another one. I'd like to give it a good proper shuffle, seeing as I haven't shuffled it yet, before we draw a card. Nice even distribution there in the shuffle. Let's do a couple of overhands. Okay, and let's just see message from the Dreamkeepers Tarot for us, for those of you who are still watching. Message from the Dreamkeepers Tarot for all of us here today. Let's see. 7 of Swords. Right, so let's have a look at the guidebook. And let's have a look and see what the 7 of Swords wants to us. Okay, 7 of Swords. Right. And actually, let me zoom in. Just zoomed a little bit so that you can see the artwork quite clearly. So 7 of Swords, theft and sneaking around, deceiving or being deceived. So a woman plots her escape while precariously balancing 7 sharp swords in her arms. Her rust-colored dress indicates deceit and distrust, and the mask that she wears conceals her true identity and her intentions. The nefarious plans appear to have already been carried out, as we see her in the act with her full bounty. The shadow behind her is inconsistent with the figure, which suggests perhaps things didn't go quite according to plan. So that's that shadow over there. So when the Seven of Swords shows up in a reading, it often indicates a dishonorable act, usually outright theft. It is an attempt to cheat another and to possess something that belongs to them. This theft could be of a tangible property, ranging from items of seemingly little consequence, such as paper clips and pens from the office, to highly prized jewelry, money, antiques, and property, and so on. It could also point to something more odious in nature, such as the theft of another's job, friend, lover, or even partner. The theft suggested here is not always about something tangible. Being the suit of swords, which is representative of the mind, the theft could be of an intellectual nature. Under this umbrella are more subtle yet quite damaging violations of fraud, including plagiarism, identity theft, appropriating another's ideas, stealing internet passwords, PIN codes, etc. So for a perpetrator to successfully take possession of any of the aforementioned requires a certain amount of mental strategy, wit, cunning, craftiness, and sneakiness. They say that opportunity makes the thief, and so it is that perhaps even the most moral and, I don't know, some strange word, among us are capable of such acts, even the right or desperate, even in the right, given the right or desperate enough circumstances. So sometimes the Seven of Swords is not a sign of theft, but of evasion. Perhaps this occurs in order to avoid confrontation, hide from a shameful secret, or run from a commitment, or even to withdraw from a promising romantic relationship for fear of intimacy or pain. One might escape this particular situation for the moment, but justice cannot be outwitted forever. The same patterns tend to re-emerge again and again, revealing an internal dynamic that needs to be addressed. Unaddressed, this reoccurring pattern will likely continue until its lesson is learned or the issue at large is resolved. So how do I interpret that for us in a reading today? I think that's because this particular deck is going to take a little bit of work. This particular deck is going to require me to climb out of my comfort zone and require all of us to climb out of our comfort zones and to not accept anything at face value, but to look deeper in. There needs to be a plan. There needs to be, and it's like we need to steal from the book. We need to take the information and the knowledge from the book and use it in our interpretations and in our readings of this particular deck. It's the only way to get the most out of it. It's the only way to achieve everything that you want to and everything that you need to achieve with this particular awesome, amazing, fabulous tarot deck. So to me, I quite appreciate that. I've always seen the Seven of Swords personally as the card of planning. To me, the Seven of Swords says we can take advantage of a situation, we can do whatever we want to in the situation, but if we don't plan sufficiently, the likelihood of success is small because you're going to get caught, you're going to get you're going to fail. But if you've put sufficient planning into it, planning and strategy into it, then your chances of success increases dramatically. But if you don't plan and if you don't put the attention into it, you're not going to succeed. And I think as a message from the Dreamkeepers Tarot, that is wonderful because it's confirming that this particular deck needs a plan. It needs study. It needs understanding in order to get the most out of it. So friends, I hope you've enjoyed my walkthrough. Take on this particular fabulous, amazing deck. I cannot wait to work with it, and I hope I have convinced you to give Dreamkeepers Tarot a try, especially if you are a seasoned tarot reader or somebody who just wants something different, because this certainly falls into that category. All right, friends, with love and blessings from my heart to yours, and until we connect again, take care.